curiosity, how many of you are actually English majors? And how many of you are like involved in any other like fine art? Okay. Everything I wrote for this is dedicated to you guys because as an English major, I know what your struggle is like and everything like that. So the name of this is The Price of Creativity. I think to be an artist is to be depressed. That's a really fucked up way to start off this whole piece, so I'm going to rephrase that statement. I think to be an artist is to be too human. Now, think about that for a second. You, as artists, as writers, as performers of the liberal arts, are probably trying to diffuse what I mean by that phrase right now with your imagination. Or you're not, and I'm just sounding egotistical here. But honestly, let that sentence ring in your head. Honestly, let that sentence ring in your head for a moment. I think every artist is too human. This doesn't necessarily tether to just artists, though. Each and every person who possesses even an ounce of creativity, I think, is too human. However, what the hell does that mean? It means that we as entertainers, as musicians, as actors, and human beings are too in touch with our emotions. We delve into areas of our head that a number of people in this world have never witnessed. The only way they ever partake in observing the depths of the human mind is through our literature, our paintings, our dances, and our lyrics. Think of Edgar Allan Poe. Pretty depressing guy, right? He is a man who poured his own imaginative demons into everything he wrote. This man dreamt dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. In spite of this, his writings are some of the most revered in human history. Yet not simply because they're so dark and twisted, it's because they're so humane. This is probably making it sound like you like it when people write about depressing and screwed up stories. You sound kind of like a bummer, man. Oh yeah, I kind of do, and yeah, I kind of do sometimes. But there's a truth to this darkness that we've all felt and perceived. We submerge ourselves into it to develop a finer craft. And it changes us every time we jump back in for more. I don't want to inform you of something, and by no means do I use this to degrade any of you here. Like Edgar Allan Poe, or Vincent van Gogh, or Truman Capote, everyone in this room has been depressed before. Every single one of you. The teachers, the students, the up-and-coming adults that surround me right now, my colleagues, myself, each and every one of us has been thrown into the abyss previously, willingly or unwillingly, and been spat back out the same, yet a tiny bit different. And every single time we're thrown back into that pit, the densest black that you can imagine, we return a little less than before. But is that bad? Is everything I'm saying condemning us for being partakers in this practice? No. Quite the opposite. I praise people like us for daring to dive into the vast ocean that is the human mind, the unknown, the abyss itself. We, the creative, tend to plunge deeper than anyone dares to. We accept the consequences of all of this so that we may refine our skills to a professional level and offer up stories that inspire the masses and ourselves. As I said, each and every time we delve into the dark below, it snatches a small part of ourselves in exchange for passage. Creativity, unfortunately, comes with a price. Our sanity. Our creativity is our madness. Our creativity is our depression. Our imagination is so limitless that we come up with so many goddamn ideas, good or bad, that they tear us apart seam by seam. Consider this. Would we have ever been truly depressed if we hadn't been so creative? If we hadn't let our minds wander down the rabbit hole? Think of the thoughts that went through your head, for instance, after a breakup. All of those maddening thoughts that build and build and build and build and build non-stop and just keep building. But then they're gone. Unfortunately, sometimes either by a knife, a gun, a rope, a fall, a pill, or most importantly, none of these. And I don't aim this at the romantic specifically. No, I aim this at all of you, because I know each of you have ached over such an event. We've all suffered a breakup, in one way or another. We've all lost a friend, a lover, a family member, a pet, anyone. We all have much more in common than we believe. We've been swallowed up by the mob insanity, all while trying to find the answers to life itself so that we may share them with society. But you're still standing here today, right? You continue to stand on your own 2 feet, or in this case, sit while I pander on to you about some nonsense I wrote. No matter the hell you have ever had to suffer through. Because the immeasurable pain you felt was a product of your own creativity, and in the end, you got over it. We let our mind drift, but it always returns to us, even if it's chipped away every time it sets sail. We return a little less, but a little more, a little different. We're now filled with wisdom and understanding. Those unknown lands that we behold as we travel the vast expanses of our imagination offer knowledge, and their payment is unfortunately our sanity. The more human we become, the more about ourselves and others we understand, the more we develop as artists, the deeper we delve into the madness that is life because we comprehend it more so. Yet we still morph that chaotic darkness born from lunacy, that nightmare that we smelted and forged in the furnace that is our own mind into hope and strength, which we use to inspire others with the stories we meld and mold and then finally perform. We use our creativity as a conduit of light, a light born from the dark. Though the darkness is often feared, we employ it in these wonderful outlets to fortify ourselves and those around us. I think that's absolutely magnificent. And consider this. Each and every one of you are still standing here today. You still exist. You're still alive. You still have a pulse. You stared into the abyss, let it stare back into you, and still returned. You still dare to be creative, and you still explore every shadow inch of your own brain that you enroll to further yourself and influence whatever audience you may cater to. As human beings, we are much stronger than we give ourselves credit for. As artists, we are challenged to feel and to imagine like none have ever before. We were blessed and cursed with vast knowledge. Creativity is a source of depression and darkness, yet also a source of inspiration and love. I've always found that fact outweighs the thoughts that run through our mind, my own mind, no matter what we imagine from whatever situation those notions may hail from. There's a quote that a member of one of my favorite bands on the music industry once said. Depression has nothing to do with being sad. It just has to do with being more human. And there is nothing shameful about that in the slightest.